Hi, this is Tom from Never Center. I'm going to show you in this video about contrast, the different contrast functions in CameraBag 2. I'm in the Adjust tab over here. First I'll click on the regular contrast function under the Basics section. If I just start sliding this amount slider, you'll see basically what you would expect with normal contrast in most image editors. First, extra nice thing about that in CameraBag is that this will go to 100% contrast. So every pixel, its individual R, G, and B values is either 255 or 0, so it's either black or totally on. And it also on this other end, at 0 contrast, it's totally medium gray. So a lot of other programs don't let you go all the way, and so it can be annoying because you can't get quite as much or as little contrast as you want. The other thing with our contrast, we have these two sliders. The first one's amount, the second one is brightness origin. So when you're applying contrast to an image, you're basically making dark pixels become darker and light pixels become lighter. And so there's a point at which you determine whether you want to make a pixel darker or lighter, and this brightness origin determines that point. So it starts out at 90, meaning the pixels where their brightness value is lower than 90 out of 255, they'll get darker, and if it's brighter than 90 out of 255, this will make them lighter. And so this allows me to change that. So when I slide this up, so if I slide this all the way up to the top, that means basically every pixel which is darker than a value of 255, and that's every pixel because 255 is as bright as it goes, those pixels will all get darker. If I push it down to the bottom, it's going to make every pixel brighter. And so this kind of lets me finally control both brightness and contrast in this same operation. And it can be really handy to get just the kind of contrast, because sometimes if you'll do contrast just from the middle, your whole image will seem a little bit too dark. So you can turn down the brightness origin, and it will push more pixels toward the lighter side. So in addition to regular contrast in CameraBag 2, we also have luminance contrast. And that's different from the standard contrast function in that it adjusts the luminance of each pixels rather than straight contrast. Luminance is how close to either white or black a pixel gets. So you can see when I adjust the luminance contrast, it adjusts the contrast, but it doesn't. A regular contrast function will also make it more saturated, and this does not make the image more saturated. So let me bring back in the original contrast. Here's what normal contrast looks like. Then let me disable that and enable the luminance contrast. So you can sort of see the difference between these two. And it can be really handy to use one or the other depending on what sort of look you're going for. And as with the regular contrast function, this luminance contrast one has a brightness origin slider, and also can go all the way so that you're on full contrast, which in this case will each pixel will either be black or white, and 0 contrast.